Hey, what's up, guys? It's Terrell here from Terrell Game Vlogs. So I should be doing things like playing Persona 5 right now, but I know how you guys like the real talk conversations, and I feel like doing them anytime I'm inspired. And the one real talk conversation I want to have is and I've been reading a lot about the obvious racism and sexism and all this other shit that's been going on in the world, politics included or not included, it doesn't matter, SJWs, all that other shit. And I've come to the conclusion that I'm pretty sure people are aware of, but people don't really, I don't know if enough people are aware of, that a lot of this shit is just kind of is become like a mask. And to explain what I mean is this: you have all these issues with race, you have all these issues with gender equality and white privilege and shit, and all these little subtle social issues, and being homophobic and shit. Um, and people always like that. And what ends up happening is that when you start classifying people in these little groups, like based on like race or sex or religion and shit, it becomes a situation where people don't realize that the core problem has nothing to do with any of these things. The core problem is that you just have people who are either ignorant, stupid, or have become very jaded. And people need to understand that at the end of the day, some of these people are just inherently bad people. Some of these people are just bad people. They ain't got shit to do. They could be racist, but that didn't really change the point, because the point is that they're bad people. Them just not liking black people or Iranians or whoever the fuck, it's just another aspect of that. I would almost argue that racism and homophobic and sexism are just like tools. Like, I feel like people are so caught up on these fucking titles, they don't realize that if you're a bad person, it doesn't really fucking matter if you're a racist or a sexist or whatever, because you're a bad fucking person. You don't you're just a bad person. Like, and I feel like that also needs to come into play, because people think that everything some people are doing is for a hidden agenda. No, I think the religion is literally being used as a tool to kind of press out hate. You ain't got shit. It doesn't matter. It's like you just don't want certain people living in your neighborhood. You don't really give a damn if it's against the Bible. It just so happens that the Bible lines in kind of with what your idea is, or there's something in the Bible you can spin to do that. Same thing with like gender equality and transgendered people. It's the same shit. Some people are just dicks. Some people didn't even boil down to like hating an entire social group of people. Sometimes it's just like, I don't like this one transgendered person, so I'm gonna spin something else to kind of fit my narrative of hating transgender people and the problems with transgender people, and use that as my way of getting what I want. Like, some people just need to realize that, like, some people aren't even racist. Like, some people don't even like, it's not even like a situation of, oh, I hate all black people. It's just like, I don't like this particular black person because for whatever reasons I have, I'm gonna spin it into a race thing so I can push my narrative. And it's the same thing. I think more people do this than people want to give credit for. Because people want to to get, and to kind of kick where some of this started is that I have a coworker who I get along with, who said something to me along the lines of, and it was dumb. It was dumb. I didn't tell her it was dumb, but it was dumb to me when I thought about it later on. I didn't think it was dumb at the time, but when I thought about it, I thought it was dumb. I think a guy was sitting in a children's area. Like, a guy that shouldn't be in the kids area is in the kids area, and the only reason why an adult should be in the kids area is if they have a child in the kids area. This guy was just by himself in the kids area, and she had said something to me like, look at him exerting his white privilege. And I was like, I don't think it has nothing to do with that. I think it just so happens that white privilege could be construed in a way to fit that narrative. But I think literally people just are like, I want to sit in this spot because it's quiet, because there's no kids out here in the morning, so this is where I want to sit. I don't think it was a fucking narrative. Oh, he was trying to present his white privilege all over the fucking place. Then again, that also brings up the question if you believe in white privilege. I personally don't. I think people it's just another fucking thing to say and to push another fucking narrative. I feel like Every time we want to push, every time we have an agenda and there's nothing out there that really it fits close enough to what we want to push the agenda, we'll just make up some shit. Because white privilege to me is, and I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into that specifically. I'm just saying that's what I mean. Like, there are people who just take shit that doesn't even apply to them and use it in a way, but they're like, I don't mind being labeled as this so I can get my agenda across. It's like that's what it boils down to sometimes. Sometimes you're just like, you know what? I don't want to hire 6 girls for my fucking job because of some social requirements and shit. So fuck it. I'm gonna say sexism. I'm just gonna hire guys, and if I get told any shit, then I'm gonna be like, it's equal equality. There's some shit like that. Oh, actually, to be fair, that's not a good example. I guess what I should have done. Actually, I should have went the reverse. I should have said something like, I'm a female, and I don't want to date, and I don't want anything to do with men. Like, I hate men. But I can't just walk around and say I hate men because people will think I'm a fucktard. So what I'm going to do is say I'm an SJW and say I'm fighting for women's rights, but really I just hate men. That's a better example. Disregard the first one, that's the better example. People will pick fucking labels and statuses to push a narrative that what they really want to push. And granted, that's not everybody. Some people are just legitimately racist, and some people literally do believe in these groups that they're in, you know. But there are also a bunch of people in those groups who literally just fucking do it because they want to get this one specific thing about it. Like, they don't care about the social standards of women. They don't give a fuck if women have equal pay as men. That's another thing I could make a whole another video about. We're not doing any of that shit. Like, they don't give a fuck about any of that. All they care about is putting men down for the fuck of it. This is an easy way for me to put men down and have a cover for it. And granted, it's not the perfect cover because people call them out on this shit all the time, which is why you get a whole bunch of those kind of compilation videos of certain group members being owned, like Black Lives Matter. It's the same thing. Like, some black people actually just want equality, but there are also black people who just want to hate on white people, and they're using Black Lives Matter as an outlet to hate on white people. Some of them haven't, like it's the same thing. Like, there are some black people who have not been wronged personally by white people, nor have even seen any form of racism or white privilege, but they don't like white people, period. Just like how there are white people who just don't like black people, period, or Indians or Asians or whatever the fuck who don't like whatever race, and are just like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna push this narrative because it fits in line with what I don't like. It's like, I don't like white people, and Black Matters don't necessarily hate white people, but they are getting on white people about equal rights and how black people are either misrepresented in the media or how black people are kind of skimmed over in certain situations and all that other stuff. They're like, well, that fits kind of close to what I'm actually feeling. Like, I just don't like white people. I don't really give a fuck about black rights, any of that shit. I just don't fucking like white people. I don't like white people at all. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's that same shit. And I think people need to realize that some people are just full of shit. Some people literally just have really basic reasons for doing mean-spirited shit, because some of these people are just bad fucking people. Some people are just bad fucking people, and people like to think there's some type of agenda with every fucking thing. And people need to understand is that human beings can be incredibly complex, but we can also be really fucking simple. So for every other, black activist person out there who's had numerous different experiences and has a multitude of reasoning behind why he or she does what they do, you could also have another African American on this side who hasn't had any of that shit and just doesn't like white people, and they could be a part of the same fucking group. It's one of the reasons why I would say don't ever join these fucking groups. Don't say you're a feminist. Don't say, stop giving yourself labels, because then you become associated with all the worst aspects of that particular group. And that happens with any group, because groups are full of different individuals, and some individuals don't give a damn about the cause. They just want to do a whole bunch of reckless and irritating shit. And some of you would say, but the group is what's gaining traction, and you need to be, and there's nothing, and I want to be a part of the group. It's like, I understand that, but you can be an activist for these things and not be a part of the group, because the moment you associate yourself with the group, and let's be real here, because everyone does it, some people, most human beings you hear a group name and you'll think of everything associated with that group, and just like everything else in the world, negative shit sticks out in your mind more than positive shit. So Black Lives Matter have some positive aspects to it, and it's drowned out by all the niggertry and all the stupid shit that's going on, and some of the stupid shit that some of these people fucking say. And now your statements are devalued because you associate yourself with a group. Whereas if you had just made your statement instead of saying you were part of a group, you avoid that stigmatism altogether. Because let's be real here, most people will disregard people's opinions and statements if they feel like they're not in the position to be making those things. Like you could be stating some true facts about life. Like, for example, a fucking homeless person talking about saving your money. Even though it's a valuable lesson, and even though I would argue that the homeless person would know, because maybe that's what he didn't do, and that's where he brings that up. People who have more money than the hobo would be like, well, I'm not going to fucking pay attention to what the hell he says, because he's broke. Like, some people will look at your external and not listen to what you're saying internally. You could be making some valid and some very deep and intellectual statements, but the way you fucking look will just devalue it. It's the same thing when it comes to the groups and stances on shit. You could have stances on things, and it's almost in certain, depending on the group you're associating with, or the group that supposedly has the same core values, that group name can almost devalue your argument automatically based off of that group's history. It's like saying it's kind of like how you could be saying some logical shit about why we need a wall to board between us and Mexico, because Mexico needs to handle their own shit and have their own civil war, and the fact that they keep leaning so heavily on the U.S. means the shit never happens, so Mexico never gets better. All you get is a whole bunch of Mexicans coming into fucking United States and shit, and Mexico's still a fucking shithole. You can say something like that, but the moment you say, oh yeah, and by the way, I'm a part of the KKK, it's like, why even do it? Obviously, that's an exaggerated example, but you get my fucking point. People need to stop overanalyzing every little thing for certain people, and some people also realize, and that's really what this is. Tools of deception. I can trick you into thinking that my cause is noble when I could just have a really mean reasoning for why I want to do some of the shit I want to do. As I said, I don't like women in the workplace. No, I don't like men in their positions right now. And it has nothing to do with equal pay or equal rights. I just don't fucking like men right now. I'm a social justice warrior. I'm a feminist. Labels do nothing but hurt you in the long run, because you get associated with all the positive and all the negative aspects of a group, when people just need to learn how to be fucking individuals and stop associating your shit with stuff. Now, obviously, labels have their, purpose. It's an easy way of describing a group of people. But, like, you don't need to run around and just keep screaming that shit. I feel like, as an individual, people are using labels a little bit too much. I mean, obviously, labels are important to a degree. I just don't think they need to be used as much as they're being fucking used, because they get used all the goddamn time. Everyone's like, and sometimes it doesn't fucking matter. It's especially when we get into the recent variations in gender and sexuality, where... And I'm not going to... And look, when I say... And I'm telling you up front, I don't fucking know what a lot of these mean. So I'm not saying this in a way to put them down. I'm just saying this is just something I noticed with all the introductions of different, like, being binary and non-binary and like all... And a whole bunch of other shit I don't even fucking know about. Like, sometimes it doesn't... You're just overcomplicating a simple issue for the fuck of it. And it's the same thing where you overanalyze these individuals who say the shit they say, not realizing some of them are just fucking assholes. Some of them just don't care. Some of them don't like men. Some of them just don't like black or white people or other race of people. Some don't like transgendered or transgender. What's the other one? Or people or homosexuals. Yeah. It's the same thing. Like, some people just don't like those individuals, and instead of just saying that, they put themselves in a group that has a similar or a slightly closer, something close to that agenda that they can push. That's why you have Black Lives activists who can say some really profound and ingenious shit and can push the right narrative, and then you have the fucking ridiculous niggertry at the bottom of the barrel. Because some people don't, because not everyone shares the same ideas in a group. And if anything, a group just ends up causing a whole bunch of fucking problems. But yeah, that's just something I had on my mind I wanted to talk about. Tell me what you guys think. I don't care about being labeled about all that shit anymore. Because it doesn't serve a purpose. If anything, you overcomplicate shit and you get associated with things that you ain't have no idea about. Like you don't fucking roll with any of that shit, but you're associated with it because you're in a group with it. Like me being a fan of anime automatically gets every stigma of an anime fan. Now granted, that's one you just can't avoid. If I'm a fan of anime, that's just something that's gonna happen. But you don't have to be a part of Black Lives Matter to be a black activist, all right? To be an activist for black rights. You don't have to be a fucking feminist to be an activist for women's rights. The moment you fucking start associating yourself with those terms, it causes a whole bunch of other problems. And some people are just assholes. Because I know because I used to do it. I used to analyze why some people do some of the mean-spirited shit they do, even though they claim to be a part of a certain group. Because they're assholes. The group is a cover. The group is a cool sheet I can hide under and pretend like I'm more objective than what I actually am, and still do the mean shit I want to do, and still push a mean narrative that I want to do. And granted, some of these people are just fucking ignorant, but you gotta kind of it depends on whether you want to sit there and figure out which ones are ignorant and which ones are racist and which ones are stupid and which ones are homophobic or whatever the fuck. Nowadays you don't really have the time to do that for every individual, nor did some people. You gotta have the fucking patience to do that, and sometimes it's not worth it. So simplicity sometimes is better. I'm a guy who just happens to have who is of African descent, who lives in America and was born in America, who believes in equal rights and believes that everyone should be treated fairly and equally, and everyone should get paid the same amount if they're working a same position and all that other stuff. And I just think those things. I don't fucking have to say I'm a black rights activist or I'm a part of Black Lives Matter. I feel like I was pushing two different ideas in this video and it may have become jumbled up, but just let me know in the comments if things are a little confusing. Yeah, that's something that was on my mind. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, all that's in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Vlogs Again from your boy Terrell, and I catch you guys later. It's like a fucking broke ass chainsaw. I can't afford it. Shit! Damn this American system.